At this speed, it would be impossible to measure the universe. But the Buddha tells us in the scriptures that the waves of the mind, this thought, together transform the Dharma realm and the void realm. At the same time, when I lose my temper, it indeed causes a disturbance in the realms of the Dharma and the void.
For example, when I get angry, the global temperature will increase, right? Yes, that's right. I've added to it too. Yes, you've added your part as well.
When everyone gets angry, it gets heated. That's right, there are so many people getting angry these days. Right, in ancient times, there were fewer people and they had better cultivation.
Result of education.
This is different. That's why, in ancient times, the climate could be maintained normally for so many years. Now this isn't. This hasn't been half a century, so why has this change suddenly occurred? Just think about it. Say, how many people got angry half a century ago, and how many people get angry now? How much greed, anger, and ignorance was there back then? This. How much has the carbon level increased now? When you look at the reports, you find that many disasters are indeed rare, occurring only once in 100 years.
Right, and about this earthquake, some reports say it's a once in 3,000 years event. So, can we say that these disasters, which shouldn't happen for many, many years, are now occurring frequently? Yes, it indicates the state of people's hearts now, doesn't it? That's right, it's increasingly reaching the lowest point indeed.
That's right. So now there's nothing else. Over the years, I have participated in these international conferences, and I encourage every religious group to preach. Preaching is important. Your scriptures are all about encouraging people to do good. Each religion talks about its own classics. However, now religions seem to focus more on form. The learning from this classic has all been gained.
So, do you think that true education should be put into practice? After discussing it, it should be applied to life.
I truly enjoyed it. That truly is a wonderfully fulfilling life. I am very grateful to my teacher, Fang. If he hadn't introduced this to me, I would never have encountered it. Where in the world can you find such good things? When he introduced me, I learned philosophy from him. At that time, he spoke about Buddhism entirely from the perspective of philosophy. Speaking of the philosophy of the Buddha, it certainly acknowledges Siddhartha Gautama as a great philosopher and saint. His teachings are the most refined aspects of philosophy in the world. The highest pursuit is to learn from the Buddha, which is the greatest enjoyment in life. I told him that if you can't achieve it, you won't be able to enjoy it. So you must learn it first. You need to understand it, and then incorporate it into your own life.
Simply put, you can only enjoy it if you first manage to avoid disasters.
We Chinese often say that joy brings a refreshing spirit. When one encounters happy events, living in joy every day is important. The Buddha speaks of the joy of Dharma being abundant, which is truly wonderful. How joyful it is, as Confucius said, to learn and to constantly practice what you have learned. Is it not a joy? That joy bursts forth from within the heart. It is not a result of external stimulation. The joy that comes from within is real, not fake. What about the various entertainments outside? I often liken them to what? They are like taking morphine, like using drugs. That is a thorn. That is not true joy, and it can lead to disaster. Oh dear, it really isn't good. It will lead to extreme sorrow.
When you express from your heart, there will never be sadness. Because to you, those entertainments go against moral virtues and principles, right? Yes. So now there are people who want to ask you these 4 questions. The first one is that there are many disasters occurring around the world, such as floods, fires, and also wind disasters and earthquakes. The scientist, Lee, explains that this is a natural phenomenon which cannot be predicted, nor can it be prevented. So, first, may I ask you, can this be prevented? Can it be avoided or prevented?
can be avoided. Why are there no disasters in the Pure Land? Why are there no disasters in the world of the Lotus Store? These 4 types of disasters are mentioned by the Buddha in the scriptures: greed, anger, ignorance, and arrogance. These 4 causes lead to it. It is a flood. Greed. This causes floods, fires, volcanic eruptions, and rising temperatures. This belongs to the morning meeting. Ignorance is a wind disaster. Arrogance is an earthquake. Pride, unfairness. If a person can eliminate greed, anger, ignorance, and arrogance, then disasters will no longer exist. This truly cuts it off fundamentally. If I say that I have cut off, I do not accept these 4 types of wealth. Suzhongjai, although I won't receive it when I come. Why? I don't have it. This is because there is nasal inflammation in the industry, and it doesn't occur. Yes, 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 yes. So there are disasters, but I'm not afraid anymore. Where there are disasters, where did I go? This time, there was no seismic feeling in Anhui, right? There was no seismic feeling in Lujiang either. It's just a kind of proof. Yes, that's proof that the people in this area are already improving and repairing things. They are not affected by this. That's right. So we need to do more, and then everyone will gradually believe it. Whoever does it benefits from it. It's about who does it and who benefits. If one person does it, that person benefits. If a family does it, the whole family benefits. If a region engages in something, the people in that region benefit.
This family can be auspicious. Yes, auspiciousness requires having confidence. Yes, having confidence. If we say, because I know there are floods in America, and the minister of their disaster prevention department, if I were to interview him, he would be considered a representative of their highest level science, and they have advanced technology. That's right, that's right. If I tell him about this method, he would definitely ask, who told you this? Right? Can I take him to Tankai Town in Lujiang? That's right, to see the classroom there. It would be quite good to see the results.
Look at this place where there are no disasters, and look at these people. The people have no evil thoughts. A person has no greed. Many of the residents of Lujiang have returned home now. Working outside, one can earn over 1,000 yuan a month. He returned to his hometown. He can only earn 500 yuan a month. He is willing to go back. Why? Because the hometown is warm.
Many people are now increasingly recognizing that the teachings of the Buddha are, in fact, a form of advanced science. Regarding many aspects, indeed, human knowledge, understanding, and abilities are still insufficient. There are some things, for instance, some profound truths, that we cannot grasp immediately, such as how human greed can invoke disasters like floods. That's right. What I understand may or may not be correct in your view. Some people see in the Buddhist scriptures that, for example, when a person is greedy for food, they might salivate. Yes, that's right. The Buddha mentioned in the scriptures that if he sees a person who is heartbroken, for instance, someone grieving the loss of a loved one, he would shed tears, and this would cause water to appear. Could you explain in detail to everyone why human greed can lead to water disasters? This is a form of contagion.
Spawn. When someone gets angry, their face turns red and their temperature rises. The fire has taken hold. The fish fins are confusing, this time causing a disaster.
So this wind disaster reaches its limit and becomes a sandstorm. Yes, we find that this has become extremely severe, with the air quality deteriorating to the utmost degree.
So if you study the teachings of the Buddha carefully and sincerely, you will have a response. To understand this principle, then you must let go. Therefore, this is a learning method that is completely opposite to that of science. The science of learning Buddhism is what Laozi referred to as literature that should be increasingly pursued every day. To elevate oneself, one must let go. What does the Dharma teach about the path? One should diminish daily, letting go every day. In the end, when you let go, you have truly succeeded. What does it mean to let go? To return to the starting point, to return to self-confidence. Self-confidence is complete. One gain clarity and understanding. Only by letting go can one see and believe. Just study every day is not enough. To truly let go and apply this understanding in life is indeed very important. The Buddha has made this very clear to us. Let go of attachments. When you no longer cling to all the phenomena of the world, you will be correct. You will attain the state of an arhat and overcome suffering. If you can further let go of distinctions of all phenomena and no longer differentiate, you become a bodhisattva and you attain true and complete enlightenment. The highest state is one of not arising thoughts or movements. When thoughts and movements cease, you return to your true self. That is called the Buddha. That is called supreme, perfect enlightenment. It has nothing to do with whether one learns or not. Siddhartha Gautama serves as a model for us in humility. He studied for 12 years, at 19 years old. Leaving home to seek knowledge, he attained enlightenment at the age of 30. It took him 12 years. How did he achieve enlightenment? By letting go of everything he had learned. If I don't let go of what I have, truly learned, it will turn into ignorance.
You can't grasp the essence right now. Are these words certain? I want to remind scientists to listen carefully.
Yes, it's the economist Liu Xin. Right, that's the direction. After letting go, everything became clear. Once the truths of the universe and life are fully understood, then you have reached a perfect state in philosophy and science.
Just like he mentioned at the beginning, if a person has an arrogant heart, then yes, with such a mindset, they will read the classics of these sages and not understand them at all.
Because this obstacle is blocking it.
No matter how clearly he explains it, if he hasn't had the experience, he thinks he understands because he has a degree. Yes, he is an expert, but in reality, he doesn't truly understand. So, what does that look like?
When it comes to expression, it is very obvious. Humility is the first manifestation. The knowledge spoken of by ancient Chinese scholars, the essence of which is found in the spirit of the time.
If this great scientist remains arrogant, then he is just as Juzi said.
If one possesses the talents and virtues of Jupju, it would truly be a teaching and a command, yet it would still be insufficient to observe.
What is false is not real, but you know that these experts and scholars, these great scientists, well, the first thing to look down upon is our ancestors. Yes, that's right, even the sages of the West do not believe, which is why they face disasters.
He is creating disaster, and he will have to bear the consequences. We see it very clearly.
You know this modern Chinese dictionary compiled by these experts and scholars? Well, we grew up learning from this book. On page 1069, I checked and found a term called human determination conquers nature. The explanation provided is that human strength can overcome nature.
Can changing nature stem from my question about whether the dictionary is wrong? He explained it incorrectly. The word dictionary is not wrong. When a person reaches a state of concentration, that is the point. To cultivate meditation, once you reach a certain level of concentration, you surpass the heavens. Have you transcended 6 realms? In the 6 realms, I ascend 28 levels above us. Goodness, this is a Buddhist saying. Yes, indeed, Confucianism also acknowledges this. It's not about changing the tastes of nature. Rather, when your meditation skills reach a certain level, you will transcend.
So, if we take this statement as truth and continue to transform nature, did you realize that the whole world has been wrong for decades?
What the ancients said is not wrong. One must be stable to conquer the heavens. If your mind is not stable, you cannot prevail. A stable mind is a true heart. An unstable mind is a deluded heart. The deluded mind. What is being manifested? It is the phenomenon of reason. When you use your true heart, the 6 realms will no longer exist. Why don't you ascend to heaven? You have transcended the 6 realms, and heaven refers to the heavenly realm.
So, have these experts and scholars got it wrong? Our ancestors taught future generations to be cautious in speech and action, which is indeed correct. It is also true that they feared disasters. Nowadays, there are many people who criticize our ancestors, which is a great act of unfilial behavior.
You pass down the blessings of your ancestors from generation to generation. Moreover, the ancestors have left behind such wonderful things. If you don't study, shouldn't you expect to suffer? Someone values your affection. You have completely overlooked it. This is the most important.
Some people have watched Harmony Saves the Crisis and, after listening to your teachings, have a profound realization that the ancient sages of China were, in fact, great educators and scientists. When asked why, he said, look at how he passes this on to future generations, encouraging their hearts to be kind. In your program, you mentioned the different waves that kindness emits. They are indeed positive. Therefore, traditional education ensures that after each person learns, their heart emits kind waves. This leads to a peaceful world and harmonious families. There are no disasters now. Yes, he said that this education actually nurtures the greatest science. Right, so that's how it is. Is his explanation correct? Yes.
You mentioned the achievements of Tang Kai, and many people misunderstand it, as if I have some kind of ability. I want to tell everyone that I have nothing. It is the power of our ancestors' teachings. Whoever advocates for it, whoever takes on this cause, then that person is doing the political work. Anyone can do it. I say this is definitely not my energy. How could I have such ability? It relies on my ancestors and the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. We follow the teachings faithfully. Seeing such results. This is to prove it to you. You should give it a try and learn.
Just now, we mentioned the phrase, human determination overcomes fate. If we understand it from the perspective of Confucianism, human refers to the general public when their hearts are stable. Indeed, their identities are aligned with their respective roles, which is correct. Therefore, this collective strength is indeed the greatest. It is cohesion, which can be greater than the heavens, and even more powerful than the forces of nature. You mentioned this.
There is also a saying, the benevolent have no enemies. Many people mistakenly believe that being invincible makes them exceptional, thinking that no one can defeat them. In reality, this is a misunderstanding. A kind-hearted person has absolutely no negativity within. Do not oppose others. Do not oppose events. Do not oppose the universe and all things. Not opposing is called harmony.
A truly human person has no opposition in their heart, and therefore they have no enemies outside. Indeed, the benevolent have no enemies.
This is the meaning. Where there are enemies, there is opposition. Many have misinterpreted the words of the ancients. If you are in conflict with nature, you need to change it. Nature is indeed the opposition. That's right, it is an enemy and it will resist.
If you are in conflict with other countries, then they will naturally hold a grudge against you.
Every sentence, every 4 characters is education, deeply engraved, and incredibly profound, truly full of flavor.
Right now, no one is teaching, and what's worse is that those who do teach are teaching incorrectly.
Yes.
Another issue is that some people have pointed out there are many types of disasters. For example, one of them is this. How is famine caused? Right.
Famine and plague. There is still energy. Energy, the issues are very serious. How is a plan made? It's caused by waste. The United States is the most typical example of waste. So many prophets say that the occurrence of disasters around the world comes from the United States. Why do we believe this? The United States has only 300 million people. It consumes energy equivalent to a quarter of the world's total. A quarter of the imports. Oh dear, a quarter. That wastefulness is just terrifying. It's very common to see. A bowl of food that you take a bite of and it just falls away. How could he possibly not have a program? Our Chinese ancestors taught us that resources are precious. Every grain of rice should be regarded as valuable and must not be wasted.
You just mentioned the United States, and you have an important judgment using a traditional Chinese term. Yes, could you tell us more about the situation in the United States, particularly regarding the American people?
I really don't know. Cherish this material life. What I see everywhere is waste. It's too much. So when I was there, we understood the resources of the whole world. The United States has only 300 million people. When he supports them, it is one quarter. A quarter of the world's resources support the people of the United States, so they do not know how to cherish physical resources. We see it everywhere. Food is being thrown around carelessly, and it makes us very sad. In Buddhism, a grain of rice from a benefactor is as great as Mount Sumeru. The spirit does not understand the path, adorned with fur and wearing the 9 rings. While the Buddha is in the world, the life of a monastic involves eating 1 meal a day at midday. We have also conducted experiments. I studied in Taichung in the past, and after 5 years of this practice, I have gained some insights. So I discussed this issue with Teacher Lee. This issue of diet. Is a person a machine? Their activities rely on energy, and energy is replenished by energy sources. But this body is different for everyone. It's about energy consumption because it's about saving energy. So this teacher agreed with my chemistry point. I mentioned energy consumption and he asked, where does the consumption go? So what is my conclusion? I would say it should be 95%. Consumption is on unnecessary thoughts. The fewer unnecessary thoughts there are, the less energy is consumed. The lower it is, the less is needed. Teacher Lee completely agrees with my idea, which is that the more chaotic the mind is, the more energy it seems to need. However, when the mind is clear, it doesn't require as much energy, just one song is enough. One can live like this. Indeed, the more unnecessary thoughts you have, the more energy you consume. If 3 meals a day aren't enough for you and you still need to eat snacks to replenish your energy, then if you consume more than you replenish, you'll get sick. So the clearer a person's mindset, the more comfortable they feel. There are very few things needed, and during this time, life in this car is happy. So it's important to understand this principle. So we have drawn this conclusion from here. That's it. The Buddha teaches us in the scriptures. Thus, human determination can overcome fate. The Arhat's meditative state is purer than ours. They eat once every 7 days. Pratyekabuddhas have a higher level of practice than Arhats, eating only once every half month. As for going further up, once you reach an extremely pure diet, it is no longer needed. Therefore, wealth, lust, fame, food, and taxes are referred to as without cover, and these are not normal. Normal people do not need these 5 things. Calcium supplements are like 5 lids. Yes, they cover your heart. That's right, that's correct. That's why it's said to be 60, as there is food available. Yes, 10 can be unnecessary. When can one let go? Do you know about the desire realm? It seems that one can let go around the sixth level of heaven. When it reaches a certain point, it is completely unnecessary. This is the situation of the heavenly way, and all beings, they no longer have sustenance.
So what are we seeing in the world now? The idea that consumption is paramount and enjoyment comes first is wrong. This is a misguided perspective.
What should it be? In Buddhism, it is said that wisdom is supreme, and meditation is the foremost. Establishing the God of wealth meeting. If your mind is chaotic, how can you gain wisdom? So now we see schools. I am here. There are very few in the country, but I have seen many universities abroad, as I also work part-time as a professor. When we went to visit, the current students seemed very pitiful. They are restless. With a restless mind, what can he learn? When the teacher is lecturing, the students cannot focus and are looking around. Probably after about 10 minutes of class, their minds start to wander everywhere. So how can they learn anything? I heard that when you speak to students at Cambridge University, the effect is the same.
They are also a bit restless, but they are comparatively better.
It's a bit better. He can stop for an hour. If you have serious problems in general situations, then this relates to the teachings of the sages, which definitely need to be focused. So, I think about the first time I met Master Zhongjie. You see, I asked him a question. I said that Teacher Fang introduced me to Buddhism, and I know that the teachings of Buddhism are exceptional. I asked if there was a way to help me get started quickly. He then noticed that I had been looking for half an hour. I don't know. It was only years later, after more than a decade, that I suddenly realized. What did he see? My mood is unstable. You must make me completely settle down. You see him looking at me, and I see him after half an hour. The distracting thoughts will be gone, and I will just wait for him. This beginning. Are you saying that the two people just sit there? Yes, just like that. You sit here, and the teacher sits here, not facing each other. They don't say a word. For half an hour, I ask a question, and after half an hour, he just says one word. Yes, and with this, a spirit can come alive. If there is something, pay attention to it. If it's there, then it goes quiet again. So when we move, don't we feel frustrated and agitated, right? At this time, the athletics take about 5 or 6 minutes. Only after settling down can he tell you. This message doesn't say much, but the 6 words are see through and let go are something you will never forget in your life. And you will truly believe and follow it. You will really see effective results. So that day, when I was leaving, he always walked me to the door, patting my shoulder and telling me, I will tell you 6 words today. Just do well for 6 years. I really listened and truly took action. I have received an award. Where should I start? With generosity.
Isn't giving something just a form of letting go? So, in that sense, this half hour is actually the teacher teaching the students.
Yes, it's a form of education, which teaches you to calm that restless energy and restore your focus. If you don't settle down, I won't discuss it with you. Let me tell you what teachers are teaching in universities now.
Well, you need to know how to spend and how to earn money. I will teach you how to make money. Now university teachers are teaching this, but I don't believe it.
Because I am in a building at Griffith University in Australia. After it was built, he held a completion ceremony and invited a very famous economist from America. It's also about teaching everyone how to make money and how to spend it. One day, the principal was sitting next to me. I have a good relationship with the principal, so I told him that I didn't believe what he said. He asked me why, and I replied that it was because he himself didn't have any money. He has no money himself, but teaches others, and is still acting like a professor. I'm living off that little money, while he teaches people how to make money, but hasn't made any himself. This is unreliable. The principal was taken aback. The principal asked me, what do you think? I said he's not suitable. He can't be an economics professor. I said, I can take on that role, And he replied, "You have a way to do it." I said, "Yes." I said he has those methods, to teach those methods. Like planting. A farmer knows how to plant, but if he doesn't have seeds, he won't have money. Special seeds. I say, I understand the method, and I have seeds. Too. Ha ha. What is that? So, I ask everyone to laugh along. Right, you're wet, damp. It's all about humidity, isn't it? Giving to the poor and those in need when they require it. That's what language is about. Now I want to do something, and I can just come in before my number is called. There's no need to go through all that unnecessary hassle.